So this is the second video in the series about how to avoid disappointment on the spiritual path. And if I was to boil down my own experience on the spiritual path and my observations of many people, I would say that the one factor that causes more disappointment for people on the spiritual path than any other single factor is gurus. And you can say, is it the gurus or is it our approach to gurus that causes the disappointment? But actually it's both, because some gurus obviously are abusive, some gurus are deceptive, some gurus are outright false. I've talked about this in another video, a question about true and false gurus. And so it's very legitimate to say that there are many, many people, I mean, probably millions of people since the 1960s who have come across some kind of spiritual guru, who have followed that spiritual guru for a time, and then after some time they became disappointed. And it's very legitimate to say that the cause of the disappointment was outer factors, the way the guru was, what promises he made, the way the organization was run, and you can point to all of these outer factors. So I'm not in any way trying to make excuses for abusive or deceptive gurus. I'm not making an excuse at all for that. If you have been exposed to that kind of a guru, it is important to name it for what it is and realize that this was abusive and go through a process of healing from the abuse. But what I am talking about here is more of a general approach to gurus, and I'm also talking about more of a practical perspective. If you have been exposed to an abusive guru, if you have been disappointed by the guru, how can you move on? How can you not only move on and put it behind you, but actually turn it into a positive growth experience for your personal spiritual path? And so, based on this, regardless of what happened, what happened in the past, what you are exposed to perhaps right now by following a certain guru, how can you turn it into a positive? Because as I've said in several videos, you are on a personal path that leads from wherever you started when you first became aware that there's a spiritual side to life to the highest possible goal you can attain in this lifetime. And what matters for you is this path. And anything and everything you have encountered in life can be used as a positive stepping stone for going higher on your personal path. It's just a matter of stepping back and processing what you have experienced and looking for a different perspective so you can use it for growth. And that's what I personally always attempted to do, and I can look back at my many years on the spiritual path and I can see that those who make the most progress, those who have a positive experience from the spiritual path, this is what they're doing. It's not that you can't be hurt by a certain experience, it's not that you can't be disturbed by it, but after some time you start thinking, well, how can I turn it into a positive? How can I use it to grow? Those are the people who make progress. The people who don't want to do this, they often stagnate or they perhaps even give up on the spiritual path altogether. And unfortunately, that means they don't reach the highest goal they set for themselves when they created their life's plans. So, in other words, regardless of what has happened to us, regardless of what gurus we have been exposed to, how can we turn it into a positive? And in order to really do this, I think we need to look at one single factor. I have looked at my own experience. I've looked at many other people. I have for some time studied, various gurus out there and what people say about that guru and that organization. It's sort of been a background study. How do people respond to spiritual organizations and spiritual gurus? And if I was to look at all of this and single out one factor, that is the central factor that causes people disappointment with gurus, then it is this. It's the idea that the guru can do something for you that can't happen to you in any other way. It takes various forms in various movements and various gurus, but there's always this underlying idea that the guru is very special. He has some kind of special ability, special state of consciousness, special teaching, and therefore the guru can do something for you that cannot happen to you without the guru. This is the one factor that causes more disappointment than anything else. So let's take a closer look at this from different perspectives. Now, I know very well, because I have encountered it personally and I can see it out there on the internet and the way people talk about gurus, that there are many, many spiritual people who really, really want to believe that their guru was special. Not only was he or she special, but had reached some ultimate state. And really you can say, I'm not talking to those kind of people, because their minds are closed. I mean, I have seen people, and you can find these documentaries on the internet about specific gurus, that, you know, the guru was abusive, the organization was a disaster, but there are still people who revere that guru as the highest guru ever. And what can you say? I mean, if people haven't been willing to look at the facts of how the organization was run and what the guru did or didn't do, but they still want to maintain this image that no matter what happened, the guru was still this elevated guru, there's nothing you can say about it. So that's why I'm really more talking to people who have recognized that there was a problem with a guru or with an organization. And so let's look at this whole claim. Can it really be possible that there could be one person on earth who is so special that he or she could facilitate your spiritual growth in a way that nothing else could? Is that really possible? And my answer to this, based on my 47, almost 48 years of experience, is absolutely not. It's a complete illusion. It's a complete fallacy. And again, I know there are people who will say, but you haven't met my guru, because he has this Buddha field around him and you can feel it when you get close to him. No, maybe I haven't met your guru, but I have certainly met other gurus where a similar claim was made. So let's take a look at this first. Let's say you have a guru, and in the organization that has been created by the guru or has sprung up around the guru, there is this culture that says this guru has this higher level of consciousness, he has this special energy field around him or her, a Buddha field. And you can feel it when you get close to him. And that must mean he's special. So, as I've said in several of my videos, you know, everything is energy. We all have an energy field around us. And I have all my life been very sensitive to energy. Lower energies, higher energies. And I'm not in any way denying that there can be certain people who have a stronger energy field, a stronger aura than others, a more intense energy field. I'm not denying that at all. But the question I want to pose here is, does the fact that a guru has a very intense energy field, does that mean he has reached a higher level of consciousness? And the answer to that is not necessarily. Now, I have given quite a lot of videos about the fact that there are false teachers. I have a video where I answer a question about true and false teachers. I have a video called How the World Was Created that talks about how there are certain beings that I call fallen beings that have rebelled against the purpose of creation, the purpose of growth. And some of these beings have been around for a very long time and have had a very long time to build up this very intense energy field around themselves. But that's not done by being spiritual or by raising their consciousness. I mean, it is said by people who met Adolf Hitler that he had a very intense energy field around him. And I have never for a second entertained the idea that Adolf Hitler had a high level of spiritual consciousness. Maybe some people did when they met him, but I certainly never have. And so I have seen gurus out there, and you can find them on YouTube as well, some videos with these gurus, and you can just look at them and you can sense, yes, they have an intense energy field, but it's not a high energy, it's just intense. And what they often seek to do with this is they seek to overpower people. They seek to pull people in and make people submit to them. And I'm not denying that this can give people a specific experience. I'm not denying that there are gurus out there who can touch people's third eye and people fall over and shaking and they have this out-of-body experience or spiritual experience. I'm not denying that this can happen. But this can also happen by false gurus who overpower people, certain people. So, in other words, the intensity of someone's energy field does not necessarily mean that they have a high spiritual level of consciousness. Because the false gurus will use the intensity to overpower those who have a, we might call it, they're not so anchored in themselves. They haven't really taken responsibility for themselves. So they, in a sense, they want to follow somebody. If you look at spiritual people, and I have looked at this for a very long time, there are some people that haven't yet built up this inner sense of who they are. And they are looking, in a sense, for someone to follow. They are looking for a leader to follow. I'm not blaming people for this. I'm just making an observation here that you can see this. There are people on the spiritual path who are looking for a guru to follow. And these kind of people will often gravitate towards one of these false gurus who seeks to overpower people and pull them in and control them. And this inevitably, well, not inevitably, but it often leads to disappointment. I can't say inevitably because you can see people out there who have followed one of these false gurus and they still believe this guru was the highest guru ever. So, but again, inevitably, at some point, it will lead to disappointment. And so the first distinction you have to make about gurus here is that the intensity of someone's energy field is not the same as high spiritual development. And I would say it this way: if a guru has a high level of consciousness, that guru would not seek to control the followers, would not seek to pull them in and make them submit. So this is one measure we have to apply. And if you have been following this pattern, if you can look back at your past and say, okay, I was pulled in by one of these gurus, what does that mean? Well, it means that you were not at the time strong enough in yourself. And I'm not trying to blame you for this at all. As I've said before, we all grew up in these anti-spiritual societies. caught between traditional religion and materialistic science, and we were not taught anything about how to evaluate gurus or spiritual movements or spiritual teachings. So we had to experiment. We are the forerunners. We are the pioneers. So again, there's no reason to blame yourself. What you can do is look at yourself and say, what then is it in my psychology that caused me to submit to this guru? And as I've talked about in several videos, we all have these subconscious selves. And it's simply that you have certain subconscious selves created probably in past lifetimes. And it's very likely that in past lifetimes you were exposed to a very severe trauma, and it made you reluctant to make your own decisions. It made you afraid, so afraid to make a mistake that you wanted to be sure you did the right thing by having some authority figure tell you, yes, this is the right thing. Like the Catholic Church. Do this and you are guaranteed to be saved. So this is a pattern you see in many, many religious people, many, many spiritual people. And why did you choose, as I've said before, if you're a spiritual person, you made a life plan before you came into embodiment. Why did you choose to expose yourself to this false guru? It's because you know that in this lifetime you have a potential to go beyond this fear of making your own decisions and rise to a higher level. And you wanted to, so to speak, force yourself to deal with this issue by exposing yourself to this false guru that brought it to such an extreme that you couldn't ignore it. So, in other words, don't try to ignore it. Don't try to push it away. Don't try to deny it. Just look at it straight on and say, okay, why was I exposed to this? And you will find, if you look at this, there's a subconscious self. It's individual for each person, of course. That's why I don't want to be too specific about it. But there's a subconscious self that makes you afraid to make decisions. To make your own decisions, say, this is who I am, this is what I want to do. So you have this tendency, you want somebody who has authority to tell you what to do, because then you think you can't go wrong. But what many, many people have experienced, and I see this all the time, they submitted to a guru, they did exactly what a guru told them to do, they did exactly what was, followed the culture in the organization, did the spiritual practice, lived this way and that way, and then after some years they realized they hadn't gotten them anywhere. It hadn't led to the results that were promised, and they became disappointed. So if you've gone through this pattern, again, as I said, look into your own psychology. And again, I'm not trying to excuse the gurus. I'm just saying, as a spiritual person, you created a life plan. It wasn't a coincidence you found this guru. There was a reason, and the reason was you wanted to force yourself to deal with an issue in your own psychology. So look at what that is and get beyond it. And then you have the rest of your life to move forward with your life plan without having this baggage dragging behind you. Honestly, I've done it myself, and I know it works, as long as you are willing to look at whatever comes up in your psychology instead of trying to deny it and push it away or blame the guru that it was the guru's fault and you didn't have anything to do with it. There is a very old saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And it has been used by many spiritual movements that I've seen to say, we have the highest spiritual teaching. And the reason why you found this teaching and this guru was because you are in such a high state of consciousness. You are one of the special people. But that's not the correct interpretation of that statement. The statement is actually that wherever you are at in consciousness, you will attract to you a guru that corresponds to your level of consciousness. So again, you need to say, why did I attract that kind of a guru? What is it in my consciousness that corresponds to the guru? And how can I get beyond it? So I can actually go higher and find a higher kind of guru, or maybe even realize you don't need a guru anymore. Okay, so this was one thing. Now, back to what I said earlier. Is it realistic that a guru can be so special that this guru can do something for you to enhance your spiritual growth that couldn't happen without the guru? And as I said, my answer is absolutely not. I'm not saying that a guru can't help your spiritual growth. But how is the guru going to help you? What I've said in basically all of my videos, I've had really only one message in all of my videos, is spiritual growth is all about resolving psychology. Nothing else. Okay? Whatever fancy images spiritual people have built out there, and I have seen them over the years, I've seen them all. Whatever fancy images people have built about what spiritual growth is about, they're all out of touch with reality, because the only thing that matters is the resolution of your psychology. Your growth depends on the resolution of your psychology. My growth depends on the resolution of my psychology. That's the bottom line. So what can a guru help you do? Well, a guru can possibly, if it's a genuine guru, help you resolve your psychology by helping you come to see something in your own psychology that you hadn't seen before. But how is the guru going to do this? The guru can't do it for you. The guru cannot change your mind for you, because the law of free will is clear. You have to make your own choices. You have the psychology you have now because you made choices in past lifetimes and this lifetime. And the only way to be free of your psychology is to see the choices you made, see the illusion that created these subconscious selves, and just let it go. Let the self die. So if the guru can help you do that, then the guru is helping you. But of course, is that to say that only this guru could do this? No. Many other people could potentially do it. A good psychologist could potentially help you resolve something in your psychology. You could see it yourself by reading a book or other kind of things. So why is it that in so many of these spiritual movements out there, you find this claim that this guru is so special that he or she can do something for you that couldn't happen without the guru? Well, part of it is simply the mechanics of the marketplace. If you are a guru, you go back to when I first found the spiritual path in 1976. There were not that many gurus that were known, and it was difficult to find a guru. But with the internet, gurus are a dime a dozen. Okay, there are any number of people who claim to be gurus, to have started a small organization around them, and it's easy enough to find a guru. So what do you do if you're a guru in this crowded marketplace? How do you make people even notice you? Well, you have to make a claim that you have something special. It's just like a company that's selling oatmeal. They have to claim that their oatmeal is better than the other company's oatmeal. And so you see this out there, that there are these gurus, there are these organizations. I'm not saying they're deliberately doing this as a marketing strategy, although some of them no doubt are, but they're making a claim. And then you have a self-reinforcing effect that comes up, because a guru makes a claim to be special. It attracts certain followers. They also want to feel special. They have a need to feel special. Why? Because when the student is ready, the guru appears. A guru has a certain level of consciousness, attracts students with a certain level of consciousness. If the guru makes the claim to be special, he's attracting students that want to feel that they are special. And what better way to feel special as a student of a guru than to make the guru feel special? So now you have this mutual admiration society, this circle that forms. The guru claims to be special. The students build up the guru even beyond what the guru is claiming. Or it may be that even the guru doesn't make any particular claim to be special, but the students themselves build this guru up to be special. So you have this reinforcing effect, and so you have these organizations out there. When new students come in, So they are exposed to this culture. Oh, the guru is so special because whatever it may be. And this leads to this belief that because the guru is so special, this guru can do something for you that could not happen in any other way. And what does that mean? You become codependent upon the guru. You create a codependent relationship between the guru and the students, where the students need the guru, they think, and the guru needs the students to live whatever lifestyle he or she is living and have whatever, an ashram, an organization, a retreat center, whatever they have. So you have this culture that's created. And the essence of that culture is you are deficient in yourself. You can't make it on your own. You need something from the guru. And this is, of course, nothing new on planet Earth, right? Because you go back and look at the Western world, you will go back to, you can go back first to the creation of the Catholic Church. You are a sinner. You can't save yourself. You need the church in order to be saved. The Jewish religion at Jesus' time, you need the Jewish religion in order to be saved because you are a sinner. Why did they kill Jesus? As I've said before, because he said, the kingdom of God is within you. Meaning you don't need an outer church to get to the kingdom that's inside yourself. The Buddha said the same thing because the Hindu Brahmins also claimed you needed the Hindu religion, as they still claim today. You have in India, you have this very old guru tradition, guru culture, where a guru creates an ashram, takes personal students, and the students believe that they cannot make progress without the guru. Now again, you have to discern here. There are genuine gurus who can do something for their students. But there are also false gurus who make the same claim and who get people to submit to them and follow them, and they don't do anything for their students. In fact, they do the opposite, because what do? Well, a false guru needs your energy, your spiritual light. There's no other way. You can try to explain it away all you want, but the fact is, a false guru needs spiritual light from his or her followers. And I know this sounds contradictory, because the false guru can still have this intense energy field, but that is because he is getting energy from forces in the emotional, mental, and identity realm that are temporarily empowering the guru so that he can take over people's minds, get them to follow him, and thereby give them energy. So it's a temporary investment to get people pulled in and give them their energy. So now let's look at this. Is it really possible that your growth on the spiritual path, your, whatever you want to call it, enlightenment, ascension, salvation, depends on a guru? And again, I would say no. But there is again a discernment to be made. I'm not saying a guru can't help you, but the guru cannot do it for you. And this is again tricky, because what am I saying? Am I saying you can save yourself? You can bring yourself to enlightenment? No, that's not what I'm saying. Okay? There never has been anybody who raised themselves up by their own power. And I've explained in several of my videos about the duality consciousness, the consciousness of separation. And once you go into that state of consciousness, your mind becomes a closed system, a closed circle. You cannot get out of that by your own power. I have also explained that before the Creator created our world of form, it knew what can happen when it creates self-aware extensions of itself and gives them free will. We can be lost in separation and duality. So, as the first act of creation, the Creator created the one mind. You can call it the Christ mind, the Buddha nature. I prefer to call it the one mind to be neutral. So, everything is out of that one mind, and that means that no matter how deeply you go into duality, you can contact the one mind, and this can help you take a step up on these levels of consciousness that are possible on Earth, the 144 levels that I've talked about. So you can say, when you're at a certain level of consciousness, there's a certain illusion, there's a certain separate self that keeps you at that level, that wants to keep you at that level. And you cannot get out of that by your own powers, the powers of your own mind. You can get out of that only when the conscious you steps outside of that separate self and gains a frame of reference from the one mind that helps you see the illusion. That's the only way to get out of it. You need the one mind. But it is always the one mind that helps you grow. So what can a guru do for you? Well, if it's a genuine guru, he or she can be an open door for the one mind to express itself and to help you see a particular illusion. And this can help you grow. But again, no guru has ever been granted a patent on the one mind, and no guru ever will. It's not the guru that facilitates your growth. It's the one mind streaming through the guru. And the one mind is everywhere. It could stream through other people, or you could, for that matter, have a mystical experience where the conscious you steps outside of your current sense of self. You sense the one mind, you experience the one mind, and this helps you grow. So in other words, it isn't the outer guru that does something for you, it's the one mind. And it is outside of your mind when you are in separation. But it can also come from inside your mind. Probably not when you're at the lower levels of the path, you can't. But once you rise to a certain level, above the 96th level, you certainly start having this more often, where you don't need an outer guru or an outer teaching to get an insight, because you get it from inside. So you could say at a certain level of the spiritual path, it can be very helpful for you to have an outer guru if it's a genuine guru. And you can, of course, say the guru is doing something for you, because the guru is being an open door for the one mind. However, if you really look at it, you realize it is the one mind working through a genuine guru that's helping you grow. And the guru does not have a monopoly or a patent on the one mind. Nobody ever could have. This is what the false gurus will claim. They will claim that they have some exclusive right to this one mind, which is everywhere. So how can you ever have an exclusive right to the one mind? It's a false claim. So gurus who make that claim have to be a little bit suspicious, perhaps. And so, if we boil this down, we can say, at the beginning levels of the spiritual path, it's almost unavoidable that you have this this desire to find a guru who can do something for you. It's just, even in the West, it's kind of part of the whole consumer culture, you know. And so it's fine. I'm not trying to blame anybody for it. I'm just saying that if you can see you have been through this pattern of being disappointed with a guru, then consider that it might be in your life plan that you wanted to learn from this, and you wanted to grow to a higher level of understanding what gurus can and can't do. And really, as I've said before, the goal of a genuine guru is to raise you to a level of consciousness, or rather, help you raise yourself to a level of consciousness where you no longer need the guru. And if you look at this, you can look at the times we're living in. And you can say that you look at the Indian guru tradition, for example. And you can say there was absolutely nothing wrong with the Indian guru tradition in the age of Pisces. However, we are moving into the age of Aquarius. And that is a different age where we need a different approach to gurus. And you could say that in the age of Pisces, the main overall theme about gurus was the guru has special abilities and can help you grow. In the age of Aquarius, it's a much more democratic way of looking at gurus. A guru can be an open door for the one mind, and that can help you grow. But more than one guru can be an open door. In fact, ideally, you should come to a point where all spiritual people who have sincerely walked the path for a certain time, they become open doors for the one mind. And therefore, all become, in a sense, gurus. It doesn't mean that you have to create a following. It doesn't mean you have to create some kind of ashram. But you could potentially create a YouTube channel or a website and set yourself up in some way and help others, as you see many, many people doing out there. I mean, look at what YouTube, for example, has done for people. It has enabled anybody, like me, who's a nobody, to create a channel, put it out there, and people can find it. And I'm not talking just about spiritual things. I'm talking about all kinds of other things that are out there that people talk about. It could be all kinds of things. Pop culture, makeup, cooking, this or that, doesn't matter. But there are many, many people who are now setting themselves up as feeling like I have something to share with other people. I have something to give to other people. And this is part of the age of Aquarius. And I just see that as a natural evolution that's happening. It's simply the world is moving to the next step where we're moving out of this age where there was this one person who was open to the one mind. Jesus, was the archetype that came at the beginning of the Piscean age, and he was the one guru who was open to the Christ mind. But Jesus was, as I've said in some other videos, primarily meant to be an example of what we can all achieve. And therefore, if everything had gone ideally, then throughout the age of Pisces, more and more people would have attained the same level of Christhood that Jesus demonstrated and started to express it. And that's what's to some degree happening now. Could have happened much earlier, but as I will probably talk about at some point, the fallen beings did everything they could to destroy Jesus' example and make him an exception, the exclusive person who had Christhood, the only person who could ever have Christhood. And if you dare to claim that you have some kind of Christhood, it's blasphemy. And you will, 500 years ago, you would have been hauled before the Inquisition and burned at the stake. So this is what's meant to happen right now. However, the thing is, in order for you to come to a point where you can start sharing with others and you have something, you have to resolve whatever it is in your psychology you wanted to resolve. And in order for you to be some kind of teacher or guru, You have to resolve what you wanted to resolve so that you can actually have something to share with other people. So it's not a matter of learning outer things, acquiring outer skills. It's again, as I've said, resolution of psychology. You know, in real estate, they say there are only 3 things that matters in terms of selling a house. Location, location, location. Well, there are only 3 things that matters on the spiritual path. Resolution of psychology, resolution of psychology, resolution of psychology. Only thing that matters. You need to resolve your psychology so you can rise to that level from where you can begin to teach. So what was the purpose for you allowing yourself to be exposed to the guru or gurus you've been exposed to? To come to see something that you haven't resolved in your psychology relating to gurus. Because how can you be a teacher for others if you haven't resolved it? And if you are still trapped in this old view of gurus, that the guru is the exclusive person who can do something for you. I'm not saying, again, you know, you have to have a little bit of discernment here. Because people who are in black and white thinking will always look for these contradictions. But what I'm not saying is that a guru can't do something for you. I had a guru, it wasn't my personal guru, but it was a guru I was involved with in my second spiritual movement, who did a lot of things for me. But it was not by doing something to me, it was by helping me see something in my own psychology. And that's the same for all of us. And quite frankly, if you look at the world today, you know, I think back, and I've said this before, that when I was a child, the society, the culture I grew up in was that psychology was not something you had to worry about. Your psychology was what it was. There's nothing you could do about it. And if it was too bad, all you could do was drink so you didn't feel it. But going to a psychologist, going into therapy, you'd have to be crazy to do that. You had to be hauled off in a straitjacket. But look at the world today. Look at how many people out there are going to therapy. Look at how many videos on YouTube that talk about psychology, resolution of psychology. I just came across this enormous amount of videos about narcissists and dealing with narcissists and being victims of narcissists. I mean, if you haven't realized this, you know, just make the shift and realize what I'm saying here. Everything about spiritual growth relates to psychology. It's all about the resolution of psychology. How are you going to be a guru in this age that we are in? Is it going to be by you somehow having a heavenly being appear to you and say, you are now anointed to be the superior guru? I mean, I met people who dreamt about this, but is that likely to happen? Or are you going to be a guru by saying, but I came from a certain background. I have resolved certain psychology, and therefore I can help other people from that same background. You know, it's again this, why were you born in, for example, a Hindu culture or a Christian culture and you are now a spiritual person? Do you think you are the only person from that background who has some spiritual interest? Don't you think there are other people who just haven't awakened like you have to the spiritual path? So doesn't it make sense that you could help these people? But how can you help them until you have resolved the psychology that these people are dealing with? So this is what is actually meant to happen in the Aquarian age, is that many people, in a sense, become gurus. Not by making this claim that you are exclusive and you can do something for people, but by simply setting yourself up as an example. Look, I know where you're coming from. I know your background. I know what you're dealing with right now because I came from the same background. I used to deal with the same issues. This is how I resolve them and work through them. Nothing is more powerful than that. And again, this claim that this guru is exclusive and has something special that nobody else has, what does that do? Well, it sets him apart from other people. And they can't see the guru as an example. So it's actually counterproductive in this age when you make this exclusive claim about a guru. And that's why I'm saying, we are not in an age where there will emerge, and I have met many, many people who had this dream, where there will emerge this one guru that will be seen as the superior guru for the age. I saw it in my first spiritual movement, I saw it in my second spiritual movement, I've seen it in other spiritual movements I've become aware of. There is this dream, and again, if you have this claim that your guru is special, there is this dream that one day the entire world will recognize our guru. And they'll realize he or she was the superior guru. It's just not going to happen. Hello? It is not going to happen. What is going to change the world is not one guru. It's millions of people who become open doors in some capacity for the one mind to express itself through them. So if you think that your guru has a monopoly on the one mind, that, as I said, is everywhere, you're out of touch with the times. You're holding on to an outdated ideal of gurus. And it will lead to disappointment. Sooner or later, you will have to deal with this. And it's very, very simple. Because what we're talking about here is idolatry of a guru. You are putting the guru up there on a pedestal as an idol that you are worshipping. And look at the Ten Commandments. I'm not big on the Judeo-Christian tradition, as you probably realize if you watched any of my other videos. But the first of the Ten Commandments, thou shalt have no other gods before me. The one mind is the only mind that matters. If you put up a guru and say, this guru, this outer form, is exclusive, is special, you're misunderstanding the reality of the world we live in. Because the only exclusive is the one mind that is created by the Creator. And the one mind is the one that helps us realize that we all came out of the Creator. It's the one mind is meant to ensure oneness between the Creator and its creation, so that the creation can always trace its origin back to the Creator. So if you put something up between the Creator and you, that's idolatry. That's an idol. You're worshipping a false god. And that cannot lead to spiritual growth. It cannot lead to the one shift that is the essential shift on the spiritual path. And that is where you begin to recognize the one mind in you. See, it's fine that a guru is the open door for the one mind. You recognize the one mind. You recognize that there's something about the one mind that's a higher level of consciousness than what you have. That's perfectly fine. But you are meant to then gradually, over time, see the one mind in the guru until, with the guru's help, if it's a genuine guru, you come to start seeing, but if the one mind is in the guru, wouldn't it be in me also? And therefore, instead of just seeing it in the guru, you begin to see it in yourself. When you begin to see it in yourself, you begin to become an open door for the one mind, and now the one mind can flow through you as it was flowing through the guru. Now, it can, of course, still be flowing through the guru. The guru may have a higher level of consciousness than you have. I talked about 144 levels of consciousness. And the guru may be ahead of you, but still the important point is that you feel, you experience that the one mind can also flow through you. That's when you avoid idolatry. But if you have this very strong idolatry of the guru that he or she is so special, how are you going to get to the point where you can allow the one mind to flow through you? You have to break down the idol that's standing in the way. Meaning, in many cases, well, there's actually two ways out of this situation. And the common one is that you have to become disappointed in the guru. You have to be disillusioned with the guru. You have to, somehow, you have to pull the guru down from the pedestal. And it often happens because you see that the guru is, after all, still a human being. Because you see what's happening when you turn somebody into an idol, right? It's a very simple mechanism. You are a human being, but the guru is special. So he or she is no longer a human being. It's some kind of a godlike figure. And what has happened to many, many people is that suddenly they saw the guru express some kind of human quality. And they realized, he's not a god. He's not a god. He's not a god. He's just a human being like myself. That means he's a false guru. But see, this is idolatry speaking. It's from the one imbalance, the one dualistic stream of putting guru up, to the opposite of pulling him down. It's all or nothing. He's either perfect or no good. Perfect or false. But it could very well be a genuine guru, because the genuine guru is not meant to be perfect according to some non-existing standard. What have I just said? The real purpose of a spiritual guru is to be an example of that we can all be open doors for the one mind. Even if we still have human qualities left, we can be the open door for the one mind. We don't have to be perfect to be open doors for the one mind. That is what most people haven't even begun to fathom about gurus. But you can begin to get it. You can begin to ponder these ideas, and you can begin to shift your mind and realize, okay, I see how I took on this view of gurus that's outdated. I'm being diplomatic when I call it outdated. I could call it other things. And it's part of my life plan that I get beyond this so I can actually help other people get beyond this. And we can move into this age of Aquarius where, you know, the one mind can express itself through many people, and it's not exclusive anymore. And that's what will change the world. It's not that one guru suddenly emerges as the superior one. You know, there's a culture in Christianity, which many of us have been affected by, and it affects our view of gurus, that when Jesus walked the earth in a physical body, everybody could see how special he was. But you just look at the scriptures. Most people who met Jesus rejected him or ignored him. They couldn't see there was anything special about him. When the Roman soldiers were sent to arrest Jesus, they had to have Judas point him out because they couldn't tell him apart from his disciples. And this is the Western view of this, the exclusivity of the guru. But in the East, they have the same thing. About the Buddha, about the Vedic seers, about any number of gurus in India that make that claim. Just look at the Indian guru scene today. There's all of these gurus. I don't even need to name names because you can see them if you're just looking at it neutrally. They make this claim, they are so special. They can manifest this, they can do that. They have a Buddha field. All of this stuff. It's all outdated. It's past millennium. Today, it's about tens of thousands and millions of people who reach a level of consciousness where the one mind can flow through them and express itself. And you have the potential to be one of them. So consider, was this really what I wanted? Was this what I put in my life plan? That I made this shift? And if you find that it is, then go for it. Pursue it. But remember, it all starts and it all ends with a resolution of psychology.